What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch here, joined by the one, the only Canuck fan. If there's any more of them, Fitty Trent. What's going on, Fitty Trent, bro?
Not much there, Mitch. I just got off work and, I was really excited for today's action and some NHL hockey. I knew that there was only one game, but it's the team that I want to see win the Stanley Cup, the Ottawa Senators versus the New York Rangers. I thought it would be a really good game to watch. Sadly, I didn't get to watch a lot of it, but maybe that was a good thing, to be completely honest, because honestly, the Rangers really blew this game out of the water. And either way, I'm very happy. It's 2-2, so that means that we're in for some great hockey for the next 3 games. So overall, I'm doing great there, Mitch. How about yourself?
Yeah, man, I think you did catch a break because this game absolutely sucked. First off, we have two teams that both suck. And then the game, what's the outcome of them playing each other? The game sucks. So that's what we get from the Rangers and the Senators. It's just as good as you're going to get right there.
But these teams don't suck. They made it this far. You got to be at least a little bit skilled to make it this far.
Well, we'll discuss that. We got the Rangers. They won this game 4-1. That means that they tied the series up 2-2. Both teams are winning both games at home. So that's interesting. Rangers probably kicking themselves after that game 2, which they could be up now 3-1. But yeah, the Rangers, they tied it up. They fought hard 2 games in a row where I thought they looked superior, especially in this game, which we're going to dive into. And I thought the Rangers did look like a far better team. It looked like men against boys, Trent.
That's fair to say there, Mitch. You saw more of it than I did, but I believe it because I picked the Rangers to go far in this series and end up winning it. So I believe it because the Rangers do have that skill and that veteran leadership. So,
do you want me to count how many penalties there were in this game? And this may be one of the reasons why this game sucked.
Well, I can't count above 5 because that's all the fingers on my hand. So you better count how many penalties that there were.
All right, we got 1, we got 2, we got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 penalties, Trent. 24. Is this part of the reason why the game sucked?
Well, absolutely it is because, if you add up all the penalty minutes, that's pretty much an entire game of hockey right there. So that's probably a big reason why it sucked because both these teams are so undisciplined, especially near the end of the game.
Yeah, it's like roughing, game misconduct, roughing, interference. Like, come on, guys. Seriously, play some hockey here. All right? You're in the world's most famous arena, MSG, and you're just messing around and you're roughing. We don't want to see that. We want to see some hockey. But the one team we did see some hockey from was the New York Rangers, right, Trent?
Absolutely. The Rangers definitely stood up, and as I said early on, they dominated in this game, and Mitch, you agreed? They absolutely trashed the Senators, made it look like they were playing a bunch of, middle schoolers.
Seriously, bro, it looked like the senior high school football team playing the middle school team. That's what it looked like. They were just physically dominating the opposing team in this game. Ottawa they had no jump in their step. Rangers indeed looked like the faster team. They looked like the stronger team, and they just looked like the more composed, ready to play some hockey team. I don't know what it was with the Senators in this game, but the Rangers were all over them all day long from the very jump. The game started off, Rangers 1-0 in the first period with a Holden goal. Then we got Lindberg, who scored 2 in a row in the second. Then 4-0 power play goal from Kreider in the third. Ottawa responds with a nice shot by Karlsson through a screen, but that was the only goal that they got, and that was late in the game when the game was already over. Ottawa didn't even celebrate that goal. That's how long it was into the game. So both goalies, I thought, Anderson did not have a very good game. He had 17 saves in this one, but there was one goal in particular that I just shook my head at. I think it was the Kreider goal. I'm not exactly sure, but there was one goal in this game where, so Anderson has the left glove.
Mm-hmm.
He's left glove, and the puck went right shoulder, and it was near post. First off, his angle was off, so he didn't take the post away from the near side shot. and then he tried to reach over with his glove to catch it like this. Is that not like goaltending 101? What is going on with Anderson on that goal? Like, I understand they were saying that Glass's stick was in front of his face, but I'm like, seriously, you're going to try and save the puck like that? You're off angle, and then you're trying to reach across and save it, not even move your body. Like, come on, bro.
Well, Mitch, as an old goaltender, I will say that, generally speaking, your glove hand is definitely more stronger than your blocker hand. But, you know, goaltender 101, as you said, you know, take the blocker. Take the blocker. You know, it's not your strongest for most goalies, but nevertheless, you shouldn't feel confident enough that you should be able to just knock that puck away and into the corner. It's an easy play. It's something that you practice on a daily occurrence, or at least you should be practicing. So, yeah, it was a really weird goal, and I think that was the moment that they just said, all right, enough of you. Mike Condon, go in the net. Let's see if you can do anything.
Yeah, for sure. And I did think that there were some nice goals from the Rangers, though. That one wasn't the prettiest. There were a couple of 2-on-1s. Their first 2 goals were like nice, pretty 2-on-1 plays. Anderson, you know, he maybe could have saved one of them, but like it's tough to save those. It was a cross pass and then a shot both ways. So I thought that those goals were pretty nice. But you know, New York just looked like the better team. Like I said, they went to the corners first. They had 2 guys in the corner when Ottawa had 1 guy. You know, they were playing deep. They were hard hitting, and I think something that really stood out was the addition of Tanner Glass. Tanner freaking Glass. Tanner. I never thought I would say this during the playoff recap, Trent. Tanner Glass' addition on the 4th line for the Rangers. He had 2 points with 2 assists in this game, almost had himself a goal with that tip. He had 5 penalty minutes. Now, that's not good. But he did have 7 hits, a block, and he was all over the ice. He was giving the Rangers some energy. And I really thought that the Rangers transition offense from defense to offense. You would have thought that the Rangers were the team with Erik Karlsson. I mean, their breakouts were fantastic, very smooth, no bad passes. They were quick up the ice, a lot of great transitions, 3-on-2s, 2-on-1s, and that's how they scored a lot of their goals. And Ottawa seemed to be slow back. Their defense wasn't ready for these transition plays. Their forwards weren't forechecking well enough. And I just thought Ottawa was soft. They looked like the little brother playing the big brother. And I didn't see anything that makes me believe they can win this series if they play the way they played today. Trent.
I mean, Mitch, I think you said it perfectly. I want to point out the goal scores, though, for the New York Rangers. You know, that just kind of proved what kind of speed that they have on the team. We've been saying for a long time, the Rangers, they're not the fastest team in the NHL. But the thing is, the quick players that they have on their team, they really stood up today. You have Nick Holden, who scored the first goal. Granted, he's not the fastest, but he's just in his prime right now as a defenseman. He's starting to get his stride. He's starting to get his step as basically being that bottom 6 guy, maybe becoming a bottom 4 guy, but he's happy where he is. You can see him that he's playing with confidence. Oscar Lindberg is arguably one of your youngest guys, one of the most quickest guys on your team. Got 2 goals today, both assisted by Tanner Glass, who's been an excellent addition to that 4th line. Both Lindberg and Glass on that 4th line, I think, have been playing excellent together. You know, it's kind of a revolving door, who they also have on their wing. It's kind of sometimes fast. Today you saw
Trent, where'd you go?
Miller. Today saw Grill here. Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, continue.
All right. All I was saying was basically Glass and Lindberg are basically your solid 4th liners. The other winger, he's kind of just a revolving player. I mean, we saw Miller there today. We saw Grabner there today. We've seen Fast in there. So it's the kind of thing where Lindberg and Glass have been a really good duo together. And, of course, Chris Kreider. Chris Kreider has been one of your fastest players on your team. He got a goal assisted by Ryan McDonough, who's arguably your best defenseman. Not arguably. He is your best defenseman. And Derek Stepan. And as you said there, Mitch, the defense, especially for the Ottawa Senators, looked terrible. And I want to point out one player in particular. That's Erik Karlsson. You see him coming off the bench. I've seen him a lot during the season, or the series rather. He comes off the bench. He looks a little bit hurt. He looks a little bit weak. He only played 14 minutes and 50 seconds in
Well, he left the game with an injury.
He did, and it's the kind of thing where I think he's been kind of holding back with that injury. I think it's kind of been ongoing because you see him coming off that bench, you know, during the previous games, and he looks like he's in pain. He looks like he's in a lot of pain, stretching out those legs and things like that. So maybe that's what really stood out for the Senators is Karlsson, the injury has caught up to him.
See, I didn't think anybody on this team looked good.
No, they didn't.
I mean, I thought Mathot looked like poop. He took a terrible penalty in this game. He looked slow. Bobby Ryan had 12 penalty minutes. 12. He's supposed to be a scorer. He has 12 penalty minutes. Kyle Turris, he did score, but he had 7 penalty minutes. All these guys, nobody I thought played well. Maybe Mr. 4 goals. He had an okay game, but he didn't even stand out that much. Brassard was a -2 in this game. That's not expected. Burrows was invisible. Hoffman was invisible. Stone was invisible. These guys didn't stand up. These guys just looked like they were being dominated by their older brother playing against them. That's pretty much what I saw. To the Rangers, I think there was one player that is the definition of speed that you didn't bring up. I've been impressed with Michael Grabner, especially in the offensive zone. Former Canuck there, even though his best days weren't as a Canuck. Kind of wish that we had him now, but he continues to improve with his possession, just handling the puck. He'll skate around with his speed in the offensive zone and just create plays. And that's one of the reasons why he's one of the top goal scorers for them this season. He looked really good. I thought that the reverse thing of the Senators all looking bad, I thought the Rangers, all their players look good. I don't think anybody was bad. I don't think anybody, was really below their average play. So it was one of those games where one team just totally dominated. Will we see that for the rest of the series? That is unknown at this point. I did think Lundqvist played better in this game. 22 saves on 23 shots. Let 1 goal in, which was through a screen, so he couldn't really see it. But he definitely played better, and he's regaining that confidence. It's definitely troubling for the Senators going forward because they got dominated in this game. I don't expect them to play as poorly as they did today, but that Karlsson injury really hurts them. And I don't know. I just didn't see a very confident team tonight.
No, I completely agree with you, Mitch. They did not look confident. And to talk about the Karlsson injury a little bit, who do you have to replace him? Honestly, your next defenseman in line might be
nobody replaces a guy like that. Nobody replaces a guy like that, but you have to have guys that step up in place of him. It's hard to say. Their defense is okay. I don't look at their defense and I'm not scared, especially when it comes to their actually playing defense. Even with Karlsson on the ice, actually when it comes to them playing defense in their own zone, I feel like the Rangers should be dominating them. They're usually, offensively, they're a little bit better, I would say, than they are defensively when you look at guys like CC and those type of guys. Phaneuf, I've always felt, has been overrated his entire career. He did step up and had a fight in this game, showed some leadership in that department.
Weidman is punch in that fight.
Weidman is kind of like this depth guy at this point in his career. But there's nobody really else that you would say, really stands out. Mathot, I thought, looked terrible. So, I mean, I don't know. It's tough, especially the way the Rangers are. If they don't have Karlsson back next game, I would hand the series to the Rangers right now. I'm being serious.
It's going to be a tough hole to fill with Karlsson out. It's very much the opposite of what you guys were facing as a Pittsburgh Penguin fan. With Crosby out, you at least have Malkin to come in and fill that role, who's good, maybe not as good, but he's still really good. He's still definitely top 3 in the NHL to fill that spot. Karlsson, you really don't have that offensive guy to fill that void. And honestly, offense, that's really what's been lacking with the Senators, especially in this game. 23 shots, as you said. You need to get more than that on Henrik Lundqvist every single game.
I don't remember one opportunity where I was like, wow, they should have scored.
Yeah, because, the king is the king, all right? If you give him, less than 30 shots a game, he's going to play well. He's going to play well. Even if those are good aim shots, he's going to play well.
Honestly, with goalies with Lundqvist, if it's not a ridiculous opportunity where it's a breakaway, a 2-on-1, a really nice pass going side to side, I'm going to expect Lundqvist to save it. If he's looking at the puck, I think he's going to save it. Most time, 95% of the time, I think Lundqvist is going to save the puck because he's one of the best goalies in the world. And I just never saw Ottawa make a nice, a nice play or a nice shot, a nice opportunity for them to score. The only goal, which was a screenshot from like the center dot on the left, like if that wasn't a screenshot, Lundqvist would have saved it.
Oh, absolutely he would have. And that's just the thing. They need to get that traffic in front of the net because, as we said, we didn't see that at all during this game. We saw that for that one play, and yeah, they got lucky to score. But Lundqvist, he just looked solid. He looked like the better goaltender. And honestly, it's going to be interesting going forward because now you have to go back to Ottawa, and Ottawa's been a very good crowd behind their team. Yep. So it's the kind of thing where, is that crowd going to be enough to fill the void of Karlsson? If Karlsson is missing that game. I don't think that it will, honestly.
It's a must-win next game for Ottawa. I know it's 2-2, yeah, but
it is a must-win.
Because if they lose that game and then they go back to New York,
and that being said, New York was the worst team going into these playoffs with the worst home record. They were like 21, 18-4 or something like that during the regular season. But they've been looking good at home. They've been looking sharp. Lundqvist has been looking awesome. You have the celebrities behind you watching every single game at the Rangers game. So honestly, I agree with you, Mitch. It is going to have to be a must-win game for the Ottawa Senators because winning at New York, it kind of seems to be a far distance away from their team right now.
All right, let's give a shout out to some of the guys in the chat. We got SportsFX, who says Rangers look really good right now. And no, the Rangers don't suck, but the Sens do. The coach, Derek Mullaney, says Rangers are on a roll. Packer says Senators are in trouble. SportsFX says Rangers versus Penguins would be a fun series to watch in the conference finals. SportsFX also says Rangers' fourth line is underrated. Packer says not counting out the Senators, but no Karlsson will hurt. And the Senators' offense decided to stay in Ottawa. Thanks, guys, for watching us live once again. Really appreciate you. But last thing I want to talk about is indeed, I believe it was SportsFX who said Rangers Penguins. Now, I may be getting ahead of myself here, but the Penguins are up 3-1 in their series. It appears that Crosby and Sheary are on their way back as they skated. Apparently, they skated today at practice, but they might have also skated yesterday. So they might be on their way back this next game or at least the game after that. So it appears like the Penguins are going to move on. Now, if we're looking at this, just to make this recap a little bit more exciting because this game was boring, which team of these teams, one, poses a bigger threat to the Penguins, and two, do either of these teams have a shot at beating the champs?
Are you asking me personally there, Mitch? Because personally, I find that anything can happen in the playoffs, but the Pittsburgh Penguins have just been looking so good, such a great team. As I said, this is the best Penguins team that we've seen in many years. I said from the very beginning of the year, we would see the Pittsburgh Penguins hoist the Stanley Cup once again. Honestly, I find both these teams are going to be playing their heart out. They should be playing their heart outs because they are in the playoffs. Both these teams are good, even though that you say that they suck there, Mitch. I think that both these teams are good, just the Pittsburgh Penguins are better. They're so much more elite. They're so much more of a better franchise right now. But I think that, when it comes down to it, I think they might be able to push it to a 5, maybe even a 6-game series. But overall, the Penguins will end up coming on top to go face the Stanley Cup final. But nevertheless, they'll be playing their best hockey.
So which team do you think is the bigger threat and why?
Right now, I would say the Rangers, personally, just because they do have all those lines stepping up. It's not just their first line. It's not just their second line. As we're saying, their fourth line is very underrated. Their defense is a heck of a lot better, I would say, overall than, the Ottawa Senators. Yes, the Senators have Karlsson when they're healthy. But other than that, when you take him away, I'd kind of like the Rangers a little bit more. They're a little bit more poised. They're a little bit more of a veteran team. And, of course, Lundqvist, man. How can you, argue against the King? The King loves to face against, the Pittsburgh Penguins. Does he do well? Sometimes yes. Sometimes absolutely not. But nevertheless, this might be his last chance for that cup. So I think he'll be putting it all on the line. Marty Brodeur, 2012 style against the LA Kings, flopping everywhere, trying to make every single great save. But, overall, I think the Pittsburgh Penguins, as I said, will be a little bit better than them and be able to beat them probably in 6 games. Maybe the Rangers get really lucky, 7 games, but more realistically, 6 games.
Yeah, I would also agree with you with the Rangers. I think there's a few reasons. You brought one of them up. Obviously, the King, Lundqvist, big deal. I mean, all respect in the world to Anderson and what he's done this season and that. Sure. But Lundqvist is one of the greatest goalies of all time. You heard that correctly. And when he's on his game, he's tough to beat. And as a Penguins fan, I know that best. They did beat us twice in the playoffs before. Now this is a totally different Penguins team. And I would say that those Rangers teams were also a little bit better, but I think, they do have the experience, and also they're a rival. So those games tend to be a little bit more physical, a little bit closer. And, in every sport almost, the rivalry games, like you'll tend to get a win or two just because you're a rival. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that also is a factor. And the last one, like you said, I think actually the depth of the Rangers is a little bit better than the Senators. I don't look at the Senators. I'm not scared about anybody. The Senators don't have any superstars offensively where I'm like, oh my God, I got to worry about that guy. I mean, the Rangers, at least they have, like, Zuccarello is a top player, playmaker. Yeah, Rick Nash, when he's on, he's tough to stop. Stepan and all those guys, and then they have a bunch of depth, and they're, like we talked about this game, their fourth line is on, that maybe that could be in trouble. And they have McDonough, who's a pretty good defenseman. So I would be more worried about the Rangers as a Penguins fan, but I still think the Penguins have the big advantage, especially with Crosby coming back going into the next round, if they do indeed finish the Capitals. But that's pretty much all we got for the Rangers Senators today, right, Trent?
I think it is there, Mitch.
All right. Thanks, guys, for joining us. Checking the chat real quick. No other questions, so we're going to wrap it up. Thanks, guys, for watching. It's Mitch, Trent of The Bottom Line View. If you guys want to see more of us, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Like the video, and we'll see you tomorrow. Who's playing tomorrow, Trent?
Tomorrow, we got the All-Western Conference battle. We got the Nashville Predators able to move on to the third round for the first time in their history against the St. Louis Blues, but they are in St. Louis. So, I mean, maybe St. Louis will be able to pull out a great victory. We never know. It will be interesting. And, of course, the series that is tied 2-2. Some people didn't see it coming. Some people knew it was coming. 2-2, Edmonton versus the Anaheim Ducks. Neither team has won at their home ice. Meanwhile, at the Ottawa Senators and New York Rangers, both the teams that have been home ice have won their games. So it's kind of a flip story there. Will the Edmonton Oilers be able to win finally at home, or will the Anaheim Ducks be able to go 3-2 over the favorite Oilers? We will be reviewing that game tomorrow.
That's tomorrow. From Mitch and Fitty Trent. Peace out, guys.